Hey peeps, we are back. We are talking The Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 15, episode 18, which is the reunion part 2, the final part. Thank God. All right now peeps, I took some days off so that I could rest up. You know that I had COVID, but now I'm feeling a lot better. If you start to hear noise in the background, the roofers are here. They're about to get started. I'm getting a new roof. So anyway, let's just get into it. And let me tell you, I was so appalled with this season of The Real Housewives. I really was. They truly do need to get an update, a little more razzle dazzle. They need a new production team. I think they need a new film crew, and they definitely need a new cast. Maybe not completely recast like New York, which by the way, I still have not watched one episode of The Real Housewives of New York yet. It's just something about it. I can't bring myself to watch it. Anyway, I did see that a few blogs were reporting that Drew has pretty much implied that Courtney and Ralph are a couple. I don't know, but we all know that Courtney and Ralph are not cousins, okay? More like kissing cousins, you know, more like Appalachian cousins. Anyway, listen, I can say that. I'm Appalachian. None of my cousins kiss though. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's just the old rumor. You know, people say that about Southern and Appalachian people, but it's wrong to say, but it is kind of funny. Anyway, moving on, I'm a mess. So at the beginning of this reunion, part 2, I was quite ticked off with Andy Cohen because Andy was, to me, promoting Courtney and egging her on. He's asking her all these questions about these people's marriage, and she allegedly hasn't known them that long. And why does she have so much invested in their relationship? That is one of the reasons most people believe that they were a couple. You are way too invested in this marriage. I don't know, something about her really pisses me off. You know, when Drew tells her to keep her son and the rest of her kids out her mouth, I am 1000% team Drew. Courtney, shut the entire hell up speaking on people's children. First of all, you really have your nerve to be talking about these people's marriage. You don't know Drew like that. And then second of all, don't bring up these people's kids. And when Kenya says, hey, kids are off limits, finally, Sanya speaks up, and I said, you know what? It took you long enough. It was too much. I even seen online when Kenya said, we don't speak about kids. Kids are off limits. Portia jumped in the comments and she said, period. We don't do that. These children are innocent. They did not ask to be brought into this world. They did not ask to be brought onto television, and they did not ask for the parents that they have received. They are innocent children. Leave them the hell alone. After Kenya said that kids are off limits, and then Sanya said the same, then the rest of the ladies all said the same, you know, kids are off limits. The thing about it is every woman up there, except for Marlo, has children. And Marlo is raising 2 amazing young men. And so they should have all turned to Courtney at the same time and said, you are dead ass wrong. Shut up. Don't bring up these people's children. Andy Cohen should have said that too. He's a father. Don't play around. Drew made the comment that Courtney has been coached by Ralph, and she has. She absolutely has. And according to Kenya, Courtney is definitely desperate for a peach. According to Kenya, with her interview with Carlos King, she says that Courtney doesn't even have a home. She's sleeping on somebody's couch. She has no idea why Courtney has been brought on this show and why she would be brought back, because she is clearly just a fan, somebody who is in need of a check, according to Kenya. So Candy also cleared up how Drew met Ty. She said that when they were on the set filming the movie, Drew said that Ty was her girl crush, and one of the ladies that was there brought Ty on set the next day, and that's how they met. So then Sheree, she tries to, you know, continue to hold on to her peach, and she says that somebody dropped off some information to the chateau, which were text messages, well, alleged text messages between Drew and Ty. You know those text messages came from Ralph via Courtney. Ralph gave the messages to Courtney. Courtney gave them to Sheree. They weren't just dropped off. Courtney came over there to visit, slid those to Sheree, in my opinion. She tries to act like she didn't want to be a part of this. She didn't want to discuss it. She doesn't know how she got in it. But you brought your big envelope. And you had no problem sharing it with the rest of the people. Come on, girl. You know exactly what you were doing, and you did it to hurt Drew. You did it to try to embarrass her. Andy did ask Courtney if she dropped those messages off, and she said no, she didn't drop those off, but she does believe that they're true. Drew says that the messages were just friendly, and Andy said, yeah, they were extremely, extremely very friendly. You know, the thing is I know that she's probably trying to hold this close to her vest because they're going through this divorce. But to be honest, I think that Drew dropped the act. I think it's very clear that Drew and Ty are in a relationship, and she just doesn't want to admit it. Drew then tries to say that she doesn't know if those text messages are real text messages because she hasn't seen them. She says, but you know, Ralph has probably done something to them. He beat some kind of situation they were having with the IRS. My thought is, Drew, please be quiet, girl. You know good and daggone well that this is all true. I don't know, you guys. I also was so angry with Courtney. I just stared at the TV for a while. I mean, she was absolutely giddy. She was beaming from ear to ear, seeing Drew devastated like this. And then how disgusting she was. She was 10 toes down on her comments that she made about Drew. And to me, that just says that Courtney is the worst type of girl. She's not a girl's girl. And why are you doing this? You are defending somebody who is supposedly you just met 4 or 5 months ago against another woman who was trying to be your friend. I don't understand that. I don't know. Her behavior was just of a woman who is having the sex with this woman's husband. She is definitely side chick, mistress material, in my opinion. And you know, I didn't appreciate how they moved over so quickly to talk about Ty instead of them focusing on Courtney being disgusting and bringing those kids up. I think that they should have removed Courtney from the stage. So then they go to break, and you see Sheree and Marlo in the dressing room, and they're talking about Candy and the markups on her merchandise at her store tags. And I said, I can't believe that you and Marlo are both acting so shocked. Like, you know, how dare you, Sheree? Candy has marked up stuff in her store, but you also mark up all of your stuff on She by Shein. So really? Talking about she marks her stuff up 7 times. Yours is marked up 12 times. I mean, I haven't actually added it up, but I'm sure it's close to 12. Then Courtney trying to shut the door in Allison's face, and then also calling Allison a bitch. You know what? Courtney was acting wild because security was there. I think that if security wasn't there, Allison would have told her the hell up. And that is why Ralph does not like Allison around, because Allison is not for the bullshit. She is not about to let you disrespect her, and she definitely is not going to let you disrespect her sister. And the way Ralph was hugging Courtney when she came in there, they smiling at each other. Yeah, they nasty. They really are. And I'm telling you, I do not condone violence. I really don't. You know what? I don't condone violence. You know, had I been in Allison's position, Courtney would have definitely been popped. I would have lit her the hell up. You don't play with my sister. I'm just saying, I don't play about my sister. She's in there telling Ralph that Drew is a manipulative liar, trying to make Ralph seem like he's some sort of perfect husband. It's disgusting. It is given, all I want to do is get you home with me, Ralph. That's what it sounds like. I want Drew out of the house so I'll have somewhere to live, you know, in my opinion. Then they moved on and talked about Sanya and the loss of her baby. And man, that hurt. I felt so bad for Sanya. I am truly happy that she's healthy, that her baby is healthy, and her new baby will be here for Christmas. I am sorry that she had to go through all of that, and I am really sorry that she was alone at the time. I think that it was a little bit of a reach for her to try to say that Kenya didn't reach out. For some reason, deep in my heart, I believe Kenya. I think that Kenya absolutely did reach out to Sanya, and Sanya has just missed it somehow. I mean, it was a very traumatic time, and she probably had to take medication. She was resting, all kinds of things. So maybe she just missed Kenya's, call to her. Then there was some question where some fans said that Sanya treats her family badly, and, wanted to know how she felt about the way she treated them. And I said, well, shit, we must not be watching the same show, because as far as I'm concerned, if you live at my house and you work for me, there are going to be some lines blurred at some point. But I don't expect you to get all smart-mouthed with me if you're living in my house and working for me. I'm very glad that they moved out, and I hope that they also got jobs working for other people or creating their own businesses or something, because she really does need a separate team, professional team. Kenya has decided that she's not going to get pregnant herself. She's also not going to hire a surrogate. She is going to adopt a little girl, 3 or 4 years old, to be a little, sister to baby Brooklyn. I think they're going to be a really cute family. Okay, so then they bring it back to Sanya and Kenya helping with the auction. And then, Sanya had a couple of questions. Kenya was upset with her and unfollowed her. But here's the deal. Sanya, in my opinion, she tries to act as if Kenya's not a real friend to her. She's only nice to her on camera, but you use her on camera. Last year, you used her and Candy for your Mommy Nation photo shoot. This year, you needed her to be an auctioneer for your Mommy Nation situation, and she did. So I think that you have a lot to think about. Are you reaching out to her off camera? Are you trying to be friends with her? When you get into your confessionals and you talk mad shit about her, and then the next thing you know, you need help from her, you're two-faced and you're a flip-flopper. So I don't blame Kenya. I wouldn't be bothered with Sanya. Sanya never says anything about all the dirt that Marlo does. But as soon as any of the other girls say anything or do anything, Sanya is on their ass. And Sanya only got on Marlo one time in all the time that she's been on this show. And that was when she called or texted LaToya. So somebody had a question for Candy and wanted to know, if she doesn't think it's all right for the girls to shade her, then why is it okay for her to have a full YouTube channel shading them? And she said, I'm giving them back what they've been giving me for years, so carry on. Team Candy. Somebody also asked a stupid question, which I believe it was the one that came from Sheree. Why do you feel that you don't have to share your life on the show? Which is an absolute lie, because we have seen so much of Candy's life. We have seen her fiance die. We have seen her relationship with Todd, her relationship with Todd's mom, her relationship with her mom. We have seen all the situation that went down at Old Lady Gang. We have seen her and her child support, her and her children. And as a matter of fact, I don't think there's anything left for us to see with Candy. I think that it's perfectly time for her to wrap up her time on the show, as much as I absolutely adore her. But what else is she going to be able to show us that we haven't already seen? Then Sheree makes this comment that Candy is lackluster and that's why they keep bringing her back. No ma'am, because you haven't brought anything to the show since Who Gon' Check Me Boo. And I really hope that when they do revamp the show, the first person to go is Sheree. And you don't have to bring her bad dating ass back. I'm just saying, she hasn't given anything in these last few seasons that she's been on the show, in my opinion. Now, the conversations regarding Marlo's nephew being shot, we've talked about it multiple times before, and I'm still feeling the exact same way. I think it was absolutely disgusting that Marlo would bring that up on the show 2 years later, bringing up more pain for her family, if you ask me. And the only reason why she brought it up is because she really did believe that Candy was going to pay for the repast, send flowers, cater the event. She really thought she was going to get something. Candy is not your sugar mama. Move on. Marlo does try to make fun of the women for renting clothes, but you own a store that rents clothes. That just doesn't make sense. I'm sick of them. I don't know. I just don't like how they try to come for Candy all the time. Sheree always has something to say. But as soon as Candy gives her the energy back, then all of a sudden it's a problem. Shut up if you don't want to get the negative energy. Marlo is extremely obsessed. She will never stop this obsession with Candy. And I'm sick of Sheree giving that sisterhood talk. You created an entire newsletter about Candy. You brought out those text messages about Drew. You don't want to bring the group back together. You don't want to be friends. You don't want to have a sisterhood. You just want to hold on to your peach and that check. And don't get mad at Candy because she wasn't able to show up for every single one of your events. She is one of the most successful housewives. She always has been. And she is always booked and busy. Don't blame her because she's got stuff to do and you don't. Don't blame her because she was nominated for a Tony and she's nominated for an Emmy. Don't blame her because she's got goals and aspirations. Leave that woman the hell alone. However, I do wish she'd take a vacation. Listen, I don't care what anybody says. At the end of the day, Candy handled that entire couch over there. And you know what? She didn't break down. She didn't cry. None of that. She said, move on. Go on with your lives. And I will continue to move forward. But if you bring me energy, I'm going to match it. And I don't blame her. So then Ralph comes out and they put him on the delusional couch. You know, the couch with Sanya, Marlo, and Sheree. That's exactly where he needed to be. And it was extremely awkward because Drew didn't want to talk to him at all. She wanted to know what the hell he was doing there. Andy said, we invited him. To me, Ralph definitely wants to be the new Peter. And Drew, of course, she had props, so she had a little peach for Ralph. But you know, Ralph he's a narcissist at the highest levels. He really is. He came out there acting all soft-spoken. It was just truly calculating. It really was. He was trying to act like the victim. And you know, Drew, she's the villain. And if I speak softly, you know, and be very clear with my words, everybody will see she's the real problem, not me. He's manipulative as hell. And you know it. When is the last time we seen Ralph soft-spoken? He was just putting on a pure show. And he made some kind of comment about adopting JoJo would have been a little bit of a hasty decision. Ralph, you have been in that boy's life for how many years now? And he ended up calling his biological dad old daddy. Then you wrote a book. You are real disgusting. And to me, that's emotional abuse, in my opinion. You are a disgusting human being, Ralph. Ralph goes on to say something about the only reasons for adoption are abuse, abandonment, and death. What? Are you out your damn mind? There are countless people that adopt just for love. Are you out of your damn mind? I really can't stand this man. I really cannot. We find out that he blocked Dr. Ken and quit going to marriage counseling. He says that Drew's assistant, the guy that he called fat and was asking if he could squeeze out of those seats, told him about Drew's relationship with Ty. The rest of the group said that they got information from this guy as well. Drew is caping for this guy, saying that he never would have told any of them any information, but it's all of them saying that they've heard from the same guy. So maybe she needs to investigate a little bit. Then she pulls out a text message from some girl to Ralph. Andy says it's some big booty girl that wants to know if he's gonna throw her some dick or something like that. And Drew said, Ralph told me he's been getting BJs around the world. And here he is gaslighting at his finest. He says, that just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? I haven't even been all over the world. And Andy said, no, it really doesn't. He was just sitting there lying, trying to act like he was such a good husband. Then he tried to lie and say that he didn't go out to Vegas and try to audition for the Chocolate City. Candy was shown by production calling the people who hire and produce the Chocolate City, and they said yes, Ralph was out there for that, along with working with his regular business, whatever that is. Ralph's trying to say that Drew has had several girlfriends. She's out in the streets. Ralph, I think that he's full of shit. He's trying to act like he's never cheated on her. He never went to Tampa. He is such a good guy, a good husband. No, this is not good. Andy asked her about reconciliation, and she said she would love to reconcile with him because she loves him, but she just doesn't feel safe right now. She's not able to share her feelings with him because he always tells her F her feelings, and he's okay with allowing someone like Courtney to disrespect her. So she tries to talk to him. She's pouring her heart out to him. She's telling him how she feels. And the whole time he is just sitting there acting so fake and phony. And she gets up and runs off. She is devastated. She goes backstage. Allison is there holding on to her, and she tells her, why didn't you tell them all the stuff you learned from the PI? And she doesn't want to put that out there. She doesn't want to bring that up on national TV. I would have slaughtered him on national TV because he doesn't mind embarrassing you. Ralph tries to tell Andy and Kenya that he's a supportive husband. And both Andy and Kenya said, no, it doesn't always read like you're supportive. Kenya said, you didn't support her when she told you that Courtney called her a bitch. And Andy said, it's not cool when you make all those Ike and Tina jokes either. Kenya's right. She told him, you're colluding with the enemy. You know that Drew doesn't mess with Courtney, and Courtney is not nice to Drew. She doesn't care about Drew at all. Drew was sitting there trying to articulate her concerns, her fears. She was being as clear as she could, and Ralph acted as if he just didn't give a damn. But Kenya cleared him beautifully. She really did. She had her inside voice on. She was really calm. And right when she's trying to talk to him, he says, how long were you married? That's a prime example of how he gaslights Drew. He tried to gaslight Kenya, but wrong one. She's not the one. Look, the truth is, Drew, you deserve better. You can get better. You need to move on. Get a divorce from Ralph and, set up the drop off at the local Target, and stop all calls. Just use text messages dealing with him. I mean, if you need a third person mediator, do that. But Ralph is disgusting and you don't need him. Ralph talking about, Courtney is my cousin. I've been confiding in her. Kenya was absolutely on point. She said, you don't even know that woman. In the end, I feel like everybody on the show, except for Kenya, really was playing in Drew's face. They didn't give a shit what was going on. They were all just sitting back, especially the people on his couch, laughing and joking. They thought all that shit was cute, and it's really not. And Ralph has been gaslighting and mistreating this woman for the last 3 seasons, and y'all know it. And her singing that song, that was rough. I had tears in my eyes. I don't know how she pulled it through. She's a professional, because I would have bashed him in the head with that microphone. Anyway, you guys, I'm glad this season is over. Get down in the comments and let me know what you think. And until next time, bye.